Welcome back everyone to Roo Studios Tekkit 1.2.9G Let's Play series, and this is episode 21. In our last episode we put together our magma crucible and our fluid transposer to start making bliss. And let me just show you what it looks like. Actually, I can do it from here now because I've put my access terminal in place. There it is there, and we needed bliss powder to make ourselves some cryetheum dust, right? Because we put the cryetheum dust into the crucible to make Gelid Cryetheum. So before we do that though, what we're going to do is we're going to make a fluid level emitter so we can limit how much redstone, destabilized redstone, we actually produce from our limited redstone stocks. So, and we're going to place it just in here. So what we need first, to make a fluid level emitter, we first need to make a level emitter. Right? And to make that, we just pop in here. There's our level emitter. So if we hit R on that, we need basic processor, cable, iron ingot, and some redstone. So we have all those. So let's just hook into our crafting terminal and get our iron. We have some cable there, put that there. Some redstone and a basic processor. I made a few of these from previous builds. Okay, and there's our level emitter. And to make the fluid level emitter, all we need to do is put the level emitter with some lapis lazuli, so that makes it fairly easy. So let's see our level emitter, pop that there and go grab some lapis. And there it is. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to grab some, I hope I have some destabilized. I don't. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to show you how we set this up here. Remember I said, let's pull this out, in the last episode that this item here is used when we want to remove the destabilized redstone, which it's all out, all gone, which is interesting, back into the system. And it appears it's actually used. So let's turn this off for now. There. That way, when we start making some more destabilized redstone, it'll use up all this, and it'll actually turn this off as well. And the destabilized redstone will just go straight into their system, so we can grab a bucket's worth of it. Okay, so we'll just put some redstone in here now. What am I doing? I keep it's force of habit, keep going back to the access terminal. I've got the access terminal here now, so I can just grab what I need to here. So pop that in there. I need to make some destabilized redstone so I can get a bucket's worth. So while we're at it, we'll just grab a bucket. BU for bucket. There it is. Okay, we head into here. Okay, so we're good for a bucket there, so let's grab that. Okay, now what we can do is we can turn it on now safely, I think. So turn that back on, turn this back on. So it should now be going up and starting to make our blizz again. That's cracking on there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our fluid level emitter against that, against the machine there, and then what we do is we right click it, we're going to put our bucket of cryetheum in there, and we're going to limit it to let's say 50 buckets for now. So that'll be, because it talks it in milli buckets, we're going to go 5,000 milli buckets, so 50 buckets. Right, and what will happen is once that reaches Right, once it reaches, actually, what do we have here? We go emit when levels are below or equal to limit. So what should be happening now is this shouldn't be working. Yeah. So basically, the setting here is if the amount of destabilized redstone is below 5,000 millibuckets, turn the lamp on, which basically turns off our machine. Now notice when it comes to this sort of stuff, you have to set your redstone control at low. Okay, you have to do that. If you leave it as ignored, this will just keep working. It'll completely ignore the level emitter. So now what we have here is, because it's below that, it's not making anymore. What we want to do is once it goes above that level, we want it to emit a signal. So when we do, all we do here is we click it once, and it says when emit levels are above or equal to a limit, send the signal through. So now it's off. You can see the chain's off there, and we're starting to make a destabilized redstone again. So that's your settings there. You place your fluid in there. You go by millibuckets, not by buckets, and you determine whether you want to switch it on or off depending on whether it's below or above your limit. Okay, so when I get to 50 buckets in the inventory, it'll turn that machine off, and we won't waste all of our redstone. Alright, now it'll keep going. The reason it will keep going because this is using destabilized redstone all the time. So it's a bit of a catch-22 here. So now what's happening here is it kind of nullifies the level emitter when this is running, because it's using up the destabilized redstone. It's just going to keep cycling through. So we can turn this off now, and we will just do that. We'll turn it off for now. So it uses up, notice no more snowballs are going in. Just staying at low. It's just using all this up here. It'll fill this up. And then it'll start filling up the item below. And that's how we use a level emitter. Places it in there. Same thing for an item, a fluid level emitter. Same thing for a level emitter. It just, you put the item in there that you want to limit how much you make. So for example, if you want to save, instead of if you have some dust in one of these smelters here and you want to limit the amount of ingots you have, you just put an ingot in there, limit it, and it'll save your dust in your inventory for other things. We might do that a little bit later on, but I find because I use the filters in these differently, like the export buses in these for a number of different ores, you really can't put a level emitter in there, because the level emitter only has room for one item, not 8. So it kind of defeats the purpose for the way I use these. Okay, so now we've got that squared away, and we're limiting the amount of alright, so that's full now. You should start putting stuff in here. When this reaches 50 buckets, when it reaches 5,000, sorry, did I set that at 50 buckets or 5 buckets? Oh, I set it at 5 buckets. So when that reaches 5 buckets, that will stop. So let's have a look at this. For any second now, there she goes. She stops. So now it's reached its limit. Okay, it's set the signal to on, and it's no longer producing any more fluid. So, which is really handy, because now we're saving our redstone, our use of our redstone. So that's kind of handy. And this is turned off. Okay, which is good. Just to show you how this works, if I wanted to empty this out of the fluid transposer, all I need to do is turn this off here, like so. So it stops any redstone going in, and basically click that bucket there, and it empties out our bucket, our fluids transposer. Now that's all going into our ME system, network system here. Alright, as you see, it's going up 12 buckets, 13 buckets, so it's going up. So that allows us to empty out our fluid transposer and use it for other things as well. So we can turn that back off, becomes an import. It's not filling up again because I've turned off the fluid export bus. Okay, and that gives us control over that little contraption there. Okay, I might leave it there for that at the moment. Oh no, I'm going to go on with one more thing. I'm going to make with you some cryetheum dust. Now to make that we need a few ingredients here. So if we go to, right, we're looking for this stuff here, cryetheum dust. Okay, and the recipe for this is your blizz, which we've been making, redstone we have, snowballs which we've been making, and niter. Now niter comes from saltpeter in the nether, right, and we mine that in the nether a lot, and we'll keep going to get some of that. We can focus it from a laser drill, which we'll start using very shortly once our reactor happens, but there's still a little ways off yet. We have some other stuff to do. So let's just put the recipe in here and go and make ourselves. See, our snowballs just going mad on us. We've got 4,000 snowballs now, which is great. Redstone. We're going to have to go mining for redstone. We're running low, and our blizz. There it is there. Okay. So now what we do is we've got all that. We just I'm going to hold the shift key down and make as much of this stuff as I can. 2, 3, and we've run out of niter. Okay, which is fine. Right, we'll have to go and do some more mining. But it does start to take its toll on our resources. That's okay. So what we do with this stuff is we'll just put this back into our inventory here for now, except for one item. And now what we're going to do is we're going to send this into our magma crucible. We'll remove that, place that in there, and it should, oh, we still got that there, so take that out, and it should just start working. We've got this here, so we need to turn this off. So we just delete that, turn that off, and that should start working again. There we go. And now we're making Gelid Cryetheum from our system. And this stuff is the best fluid to keep your reactor cool. Problem is, we need a whole pile of it. Okay, so it's going to take a while, and while we're making this, we'll keep mining resources. I'll keep mining resources, and we'll get that built up while we're making our reactor casings, and we'll get this all set up. Toot sweet. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. They're the few things I wanted to. We finished off our machine to make Gelid Cryetheum, and we're into our Gelid Cryetheum production, and one step closer to our reactors. If you're liking this series, please subscribe and share and like the videos. It helps me out, and I'll see you on the next. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'm here most days, and I'll answer them pretty much straight away. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you on the next tutorial. Bye for now.